Welcome to the Golf Fitness Bomb Squad. I'm your host, Chris Finn, and today we're going to dive into the cliche topic of medicine balls and clubhead speed. So, a lot of golfers out there, you maybe included, are thinking about trying to increase clubhead speed when you're at the gym. That's a very common thing that we think about as a golfer. And a lot of golfers, unfortunately, because I see them at the gym, I'm not at First Golf, but when I go to just, if I'm on the road or traveling, whatever it is, I see people just pounding these medicine balls against cinder block walls. And there's a lot of misunderstanding of why they're doing it. And when they're doing these exercises, they're actually doing them the wrong way. So today we're going to dive into how to use medicine balls, when not to use them, why. We're going to do this in the context of a study that we did looking at clubhead speed gains based on if people use medicine balls or if we trained a different way. So let's dive into that, because there's a number of pretty interesting nuggets to pull from it that I think are important to share. So this is a cool study where basically we had this big group of golfers, took half of them. We said, you guys are gonna, or we said both groups, because we broke them into two groups. We said everybody's gonna do the same strength training exercises. Everybody's gonna do the same mobility exercises. And we tested before we started. We had them do gamer swings on our simulators. We took force place readings, 3D kinematic. So we had kinetic data, kinematic data. We had the launch monitor data, everything, right? And so we got baselines, and we did what are like 5 gamer, we call them gamer speeds, which is like you're just on the golf course, par 5, you're trying to keep it in the fairway, hidden driver. And then we did 5, hey, you don't care where the ball goes, swing as hard as you possibly can, right? And that's how we got our baselines. Now, once we had that, then we had those two groups broken up. And we said, all right, group A, you're going to do the same program as group B, but there's going to be one difference. The difference is group A, you're going to do medicine ball rotary work. So you're going to do Ironman throws, which would be like having a medicine ball kind of on your armpit, in your trail side armpit. And then you kind of step and almost like punch it, like a punching motion, basically like launching it on a line drive into the wall. That'd be an Ironman throw. Another variation that we had them do were scoop throws. Think of 2 hands on the medicine ball, kind of more down by the hip. This is one that I see all the time at the gym, and just kind of, and obviously, try to rotate and throw it against the wall. Those are just 2 examples of the med ball variations that we had them do. That was group A. Group B, their power work was nothing medicine ball related. It was all lower body vertical power related and upper body push power related. So think jumping, if vertical, like overhead slams. So if you take a slam ball, not a medicine ball that's bouncy, a ball that has sand in it, that when you throw it on the ground, it just kind of is dead. You kind of bring it up over the head and then slam it onto the ground. That's a way that actually trains vertical forces. Great technique if you're listening, have joint replacements or arthritis in your hips or knees. Like you're just jumping. This is not something you feel good about after you do it. You're sore or whatever it may be. So it's a great non-impact way to train vertical forces. And then upper body, we do push power. So cable punches, we actually would use medicine balls here for rebound exercises, those sorts of things. So nothing rotary. Remember, the study was looking at rotational use of medicine balls for power versus a number of different ways of just training upper body push power, like a bench press, and lower body vertical power, like a jump, right? Because those are the 2 that we know from past studies have, statistically speaking, causational impacts on clubhead speeds, meaning if we get them better, clubhead speed gets faster. So we ran the study for, I believe it was 8 to 12 weeks. And then we decided to take a look, obviously, at the end to retest and say, hey, what was the difference, right? And it was pretty astounding. The results were shocking in a way. I mean, I definitely didn't think I had a hypothesis. I did not think the hypothesis was going to be this stark in terms of how different it was. And so basically what we saw was the medicine ball group really, maybe got like marginally a little bit better. But the group that did the vertical and the upper body push power training outgained them by like 3 miles an hour. Like it was stupid. Like it's literally like 10 yards, right? In a 2 to 9, less than 90 days. They did literally everything else the same, but the group B did the right power training that actually impacts the golf swing and increases clubhead speed. Now we'll dive into why that happened and why, it's important for you guys to take note of. But I just want to drive home the fact of just simply by picking the correct power exercise, one single group gained an extra 10 yards in literally spending the exact same amount of time at the gym. That's wild. And I hope you hear that and are kind of like, one little change can make that big of a difference. And the answer is yes, if you're assessed and you're not guessing what you need to be doing. So the reason why a lot of these med ball drills don't work is, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, the way that people do them is the wrong kinematic sequence. So there's a lot of people I'll see doing like a scoop toss, for example. You have the balls around your waist and you're just trying to you're standing in place and just repeatedly banging this thing off the wall 10, 20 times, right? What happens is you don't drive with your hips. You just end up making it this upper body dominant move, which is the wrong sequence to create power. We know this is from all the research we've done on force plates and looking at our core four. And one of the first most important things is weight shift followed by hips initiating the downswing. So if you're doing a medicine ball throw and you're not doing either of those, what the hell are you doing? Like you're actually, the answer is nothing. You're actually training the opposite of what you want to be doing. So that's one reason why a lot of the medicine ball stuff doesn't work. Now, if you coach it correctly, I think this is a key point. Medicine balls do work rotationally if you know what you're trying to get after. So if somebody has good mobility, they have good strength, and we're trying to improve the way that they use the ground kinetically, medicine balls have a very, very important place in this situation where you can use an Ironman. You're going to use an Ironman throw very differently than a scoop toss. You may use a hop back medicine ball toss, or there's lots of different variations if you're trying to increase somebody's horizontal force, or maybe you're trying to increase their vertical force, or maybe you're trying to increase their toe heel force. When you test these different medicine ball exercises on force plates, how somebody is coached and the awareness of what they're trying to do makes a massive difference, literally 180 degree difference, like total opposite, based on how they're thinking about it when we look at their force plate data. So I think number one, people are doing the wrong exercises, and number two, they're doing them wrong. Number three, the third one, I could make a massive list here. We'll just stick to three. The third one is that a lot of people do medicine ball throws, just like way too many of them. They'll bang out 20 of them. And in reality, if we're training, if we understand the laws of physiology, power training after 5 reps, it's not power training anymore. It's becoming aerobic capacity training. It's becoming endurance-based training. And so they're using these lightweight med balls that are heavier. They're too heavy relative to a golf club to go faster than you would with a golf club. And they're too light relative to how strong the person generally is for it to actually be an overload impact to create strength. So you're kind of in this no man's land, which is why they're actually beneficial more so when you're trying to improve sequence, kinematic or kinetic. Remember, kinematic is the order of movement in terms of the hips moving first, then the torso, then the shoulders, then the hands, as opposed to kinetic, which is the order of sequence of the forces in the ground. So in a golf swing, it should be a horizontal force peaking first, then a toe heel force, then a vertical force, particularly through the lead leg, is where most of the vertical drive should come from. So I think there's just so many ways that people screw up medicine ball throws. It seems like a stupidly simple exercise, but it's actually incredibly nuanced and complex and detailed. But once you understand that and you understand what you need, it's actually a simple integration. I know we've seen people using medicine balls why do we've used them? Because, hey, they have good mobility, they have good strength. They just don't understand how to sequence and use the ground correctly. Let's pick this specific medicine ball drill and we're going to use this singular drill. And in a matter of a week or two, I mean, honestly, within a session, I've seen somebody go up 10 miles an hour just because the light bulb clicks and they're like, oh, I get it now. All right, let's go put a club in your hand. Now it's actually sport specific training, golf specific with the actual club in your hand. That's the only way it's truly golf specific. Then we can actually go and see that translate out into the golf swing. So a little bit more of a technical deep dive episode today, but I really wanted to make sure that you guys understood this just kind of this myth. Honestly, it's all over Instagram. It's all over social media and it looks cool. It looks like the golf swing. And so I see so many of you just jumping on this bandwagon. You see, full season or a full swing season 1, 2, or 3, whatever one, you see these guys throwing a medicine ball without any context around why. And unfortunately, I mean, this newsflash here, a lot of the guys on tour, their trainers have no idea why they're doing them. Like there's a guy that they know, or like, it's astounding how many people actually have no idea what forces specific medicine ball drills actually drive, even at the highest levels. So if you're going to use a medicine ball, this is my plea. Please understand what you are specifically trying to train and know that what you're doing is actually going to do that. Because if it isn't, you're wasting your time. Like if we go back to the beginning of this episode, remember 3 miles an hour difference by changing one thing. That's 10 yards. Same amount of time in the gym, same amount of soreness, sweat, all that. But by doing the wrong thing, you lost 10 miles an hour compared to what you could have gained. Or sorry, not 10 miles an hour, 10 yards. In some cases I've seen it be 10 miles an hour. And that can happen when you have all the other boxes checked. If we think of the golf performance pyramid of mobility at the base, then the strength, and now you're working on power, that's your constraint. Or not, if none of those three are your constraint, and it's really just translating it to the golf swing, using medicine balls to unlock that ground force sequence that you need, that will gain 10 miles an hour in some cases. It's stupid how cool it is. But hopefully this kind of sheds some light on some of the common misunderstandings that there are out there about medicine balls. I challenge you, if you see someone at the gym banging a medicine ball, ask them what they're working on and ask them how they know that they're getting any better. They're not going to have an answer for you. I've tried. And I do my best to try to educate people. It's funny how indignant a lot of people are. No, I saw this. I saw Rory doing it. So this is what I'm going to do. Who are you, Greg? You're not Rory. Enjoy it, man. Just keep banging that ball. But I think the takeaway is, at the end of the day, vertical forces through your lower body, upper body push power, those are going to be your two biggest ROIs most consistently. You got to make sure those are in your programs. Medicine balls do have a place. Unfortunately, for 99% of people, we're not putting them in the correct place. My hope is that after this, you will. So thanks as always for hanging out with me here on the Golf Fitness Bomb Squad. I look forward to catching you on the next episode.